Play-based learning methodology has proved to be very efficient in over 93 public primary schools in Tanzania, as advocated by Right to Play. Today, during the Monday agenda, we are most privileged to meet, talk, and discuss the mission, vision, and what Right to Play is and what it does to improve the performance and quality of education in Tanzania. And we have the country director of Right to Play Tanzania, Madam Josephine Mukakalisa, with us on the show. Tell us, Right to Play, how has this journey begun? And probably tell us a little bit more about Right to Play and why education.
Right to Play is an international organization which is headquartered in Toronto, Canada, and has programs in Africa, Middle East, Asia, North America, and national offices in Europe to support us on fundraising and marketing for the organization. In Tanzania, Right to Play started in 2001. The focus when the organization started was to reach the most disadvantaged children in Africa. And at that time, the program started in the refugee camps in Kigoma. I think you know, there were refugees from Congo, from Burundi.
Burundi, yes.
Yeah, and for us, the refugees are not a situation where we can say a good environment for children to grow and to have hope in the future. Mm-hmm. Bringing their Right to Play program was with the objective of developing life skills for children and youth in the camps, build hope in the future. So in brief, Right to Play is a global organization which is committed to improve the lives of the children in the most disadvantaged communities of the world, but programs are mainly in Africa, Middle East, and Asia. Mm-hmm. So our vision is to have a healthy and safe world through the power of play. And we use play to educate and empower children and youth to overcome the effect of poverty, conflict, disease in the most disadvantaged communities. Mm-hmm. When we started the program in Tanzania, the focus was in the refugee camps, but also in other disadvantaged communities, yes, like orphanages, centers for children with disabilities. Mm-hmm. Those people, those children who are sometimes not really considered, whose rights are always neglected. Yeah. Yeah, so Right to Play brings peace and hope to those children. Mm-hmm. with a specific methodology, which is play. Okay. Children like play. Mm-hmm. And we think that children with disabilities are not allowed to play, so we are showing to the communities that play can be one of the solutions for those children to understand their rights, to come out from the houses of their families and benefit their basic skills.
So basically you grew from a refugee camp to over currently 93 public primary schools in Tanzania.
Yes.
Where are the schools now? In which regions?
The schools are in Dar es Salaam, Morogoro, and Mara, because from the refugee camps, we expanded the program to public primary schools, mm-hmm. because sometimes public schools in rural areas are also considered as some of the disadvantaged communities, mm-hmm. because you find children are, we have overcrowded classrooms, we have insufficient number of teachers based on the number of children who are expected to attend school. We have sometimes insufficient awareness of parents about the age of children enrollment. So you will find a delay in enrolling the children in schools. Even if they are in schools, you will find some dropout because the parents need support at home and the children need to drop out to keep supporting, in particular for girls who are considered as supporting most the mothers for family cause. So we are trying to make sure that every child is attending school at the appropriate age and on a regular basis, so that they all benefit the advantages of regular learning at all levels of education, starting from pre-primary, primary, and secondary education.
You mentioned your presence is in Africa, Asia, and the Middle East.
Yeah.
Who are your collaborators? I believe you do not work in isolation. Education is broad, and you must be working with other stakeholders to deliver the right, the play-based methodology. So who are your collaborators?
In 2013, the organization developed a theory of change with a key program component, including enhancing education quality, transforming health practices, building peaceful communities. At that time, each country was supposed to select which component to focus on based on the priorities of the countries and the needs and the gaps. Tanzania being one of the countries which is putting upfront the education and which is prioritizing enhancing the quality of education. So Right to Play Tanzania took that commitment, engagement to work with the government in improving the quality of education.
Excellent.
And we selected primary schools because we know sometimes these are the ones having challenges. And we engaged other stakeholders, as you asked. Primary schools are under the supervision of district education officers,
Yes.
under the President's Office, regional administration, and local government and regional administration.
Yes.
So we work closely with that ministry. We also work closely with the Ministry of Education as delivering the guidance, the policies on education. And for the implementation in schools, we work directly with head teachers who are responsible of overseeing the implementation of the education curriculum in schools. We also work with the Tanzania Institute of Education, which is developing curriculum materials for us to have this understanding and mainly explaining to the teachers that the play-based learning methodology is not something we are bringing aside, which is separate from their regular teaching practices. What we want is to be integrated in the teaching practices as part of the methodologies which are recommended by the curriculum, and to make sure that children are really participating in the learning process. So as an active learning methodology, play-based learning, we want to see children involved, being also agent of their learning, participating in the learning process, collaborating with the teachers, being close and establishing a friendly learning environment at school. That is what will help the children to be motivated to attend school, to be interested, and to attend on a regular basis.
The methodology that we are talking about. So I understand, but it could better be explained by you that the teachers use sports and games and activities in conducting the lessons?
We develop games which are modified by teachers to align to the curriculum objectives, subject, and topics. So for all the subjects taught in primary school, a teacher can use an active learning methodology, something which is engaging the children, not a lecture, not the teacher to talk, not to be centered to the teacher and the content. What we want is to have the children learn, understand what they are learning, and identify applications in their normal life. So we are talking about competencies-based curriculum now that the government has developed and is recommending for all levels of education, from pre-primary to even university. So the children need to learn, and they need to have the competencies and skills at the end of their learning process. So sometimes teachers are missing the tools, the well-described approach to help them involve the children in the learning process. So Right to Play has supported the schools, Tanzania Institute of Education, to develop teacher's guide which integrate the games, the play, and other active approaches like groups, a small working group for the children, drama, every kind of activity which really engage the child, so that we see the child working with the teacher in the classroom, providing ideas, opinion, discussing the learning process, asking questions. This is how the play-based learning is used.
What other support do you give to schools? You give them footballs, you give them, ropes for tug of war, if there's anything to do with tug of war. So what else do you give besides the learning guides to the teachers?
Yes, the implementation of the curriculum, the delivery of the curriculum content in the classroom requires teaching aid. So we are providing some teaching aid, but the idea is not for us to provide. We also organize some sessions with teachers on how to develop themselves the teaching aid using local materials. Because there is a lot we can do with teachers with the involvement of the children themselves. Mm-hmm. They can create, when I'm teaching mathematics, algebra, which materials do I need? Okay. How can I make them? And how the children can bring what they have at home locally, leaves of bananas, coconuts, all those things can be used to develop the teaching aid. Okay. We are also promoting the core sport in school, like football, volleyball, handball. No, this one for girls, netball. Yeah, these are the famous sport for girls in primary schools. Mm-hmm. So we are also encouraging the girls and boys to participate in those sports, because to be able to perform well in the classroom, there is a need for some skills to be developed, to give the opportunity for the children to develop those life skills. And with the outside games, like sport and other games which are supporting to develop the life skills, they can help to build some skills they need also to concentrate in the classroom, to be active in the classroom, to develop their communication with the teachers. So we provide some materials like balls, ropes, as you are saying, all those materials supporting also for the delivery of regular sport. For the teachers, we are training to also develop sport talent among the children. Mm-hmm. So we train them and we give them some materials, and they organize regular sport competitions.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this, as you mentioned, has increased tremendously the attendance of students in school.
Yes.
What are the impacts that you've so far noticed? Changes within students, performance, etc. What are some of the impacts that are early signs that right to play based approach on play-based methodology is actually transforming? Because we want education to be transformed. And with a bigger picture of transformation of education, you want to start with the student themselves, then the teachers and the management. So what are some of the transformative changes that we are already seeing in these 93 schools that you have your presence in?
Okay. So our primary target is the children, to see them being enrolled in school, to attend on a regular basis, to complete primary education, and to pass the national exams at standard 4 level, standard 7 level. Yeah. To reach there, we train the teachers. So what we have seen after the training is that teachers are really very excited about the approach. They like the approach. It's a solution to what they are missing, because we are providing details on how to actively engage the children. Mm-hmm. And specifically how to engage big groups. With our overcrowded classroom, it's a challenge for a teacher to involve everyone, to know how everyone is improving reading, writing, arithmetic skills. It's a challenge. With the approach, the teacher is able to organize the class so that everyone is participating, so that we have junior leaders, the children who are leading the groups into the classroom, to make sure that all are participating. They are like supporting the peers. There is peer support. If there is a child who is still having some difficulties in reading and writing, the peers can see how to reinforce the capacities of their peers, to report to the teacher, this child needs your support. So with that setting, classroom setting, so the good results are based on attendance, because the children are motivated to attend. They know if I go to school, I will learn, I will have attention of my peers and the teachers. They will also perform better in the national exams because they are learning.
Yes.
Yeah, there was an issue some years back where some children could complete primary education without reading and writing.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's mainly based on the overcrowded classroom and the teaching and learning approach. So with this participatory approach, where the teacher can know the individual skills and weaknesses of the children and identify strategies to address the weaknesses, it helps the children to learn better and to succeed in national exams. So we have seen with that approach that some schools have done great in the national exams. They have improved their performance in terms of the number of children completing primary education, number of children passing the national exams. So passing from, they have different grades, from grade A to B, from red to yellow. And
Yes.
when we started the program, we told them we need change. If you are not in A, make sure you are in A at the end of the project. It was a 3 years project we were implementing, and the focus was in improving the teaching and learning practices in schools, and we provided this approach to the teachers who started implementing. So over 70% of trained teachers, they confirm that they are using this methodology on daily basis, regular basis in all the subjects.
Okay.
Which means they are comfortable with it and they like the approach. Head teachers have also confirmed the changes within the school. It's not only about the teacher to improve the teaching approach, but this relationship between the children and the teachers has also improved. You see a friendship being established and reinforced between the teachers and the children and the teachers themselves. Because when we start the program, we can't have the resources to train all the teachers at the same time. And we can't also take all the teachers out of the class because sometimes we train them during the weekdays where they're supposed to teach. So we take some teachers, like 3 or 4 teachers per school. We put them in same locations where we invite different teachers from different schools. So those who are trained, when they go back, they don't keep that knowledge and skills from themselves. They share with the remaining members of the group at school. So which means it's something they appreciate, they share with others because they have the same goal, improving the performance of the school.
Okay. How do other schools benefit from play-based learning methodology? How can they, get this? Can this be replicated so that other schools, non-right-to-play schools, participate equally? So the objective, the bigger picture, end of the day, is not just to have 93 schools in Tanzania performing better than other schools, but to have the education sector transformed as a whole.
The replication is very easy, and this is our long-term objective, and we have started working on it. The best way of duplicating this method and having many children benefit the advantages of learning through play is to work with the government system, the existing systems at local level and national level. At local level, I'm talking about the district, and I'm talking about in-service teachers training. The government has developed a framework for in-service teachers training, and education officers at district level are supposed to implement the framework. Yeah, but as you know, government resources, sometimes it's difficult. That's why we are there as NGOs to support the implementation of the national policies and plans.
Okay.
So at the district level, we work with the district education officers to train a team of trainers, which is helping to train teachers from other schools which are not right-to-play partners.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that is district level. And it's something they have started doing even without developing a formal strategy. Some of the teachers have taken the initiative to train the neighbor teachers from neighbor schools.
Okay.
Yeah, some education officers have taken the initiative of inviting teachers from right-to-play partner schools to train teachers from non-partner schools. And when we developed a formal strategy, it's something they all welcomed.
Okay.
So we have already trained teams in Dar es Salaam, Morogoro, and Mara. Unfortunately, we are reaching some districts because in Dar es Salaam, of course, we are planning to reach all the municipals.
Okay.
In Morogoro, we are reaching only Morogoro Rural and Morogoro Municipal.
Yes.
So we have trained regional trainers who can train teachers from those two districts, but we are thinking about developing a strategy to scale up the program all over the region. So all depends on the commitment of education officers at district level. In Mara, we have Tarime and Serengeti, and we have trained trainers in those districts.
Okay.
They are also planning to train teachers from other schools which are not right-to-play partners.
Okay.
But the long term, as I'm saying, is to work with the region to develop a training strategy for the region, working with other stakeholders to scale up the program in the other schools.
Okay.
So at national level, which will really help, will be to work with the institution which is in charge of developing curriculum materials.
Okay.
Yeah, we can't say we will integrate in the curriculum. The curriculum is already developed.
Yes.
But the curriculum gives guidance and recommendations about the methodology to be used. The curriculum now is competencies based.
Yes.
So which means it has to increase child-centered participatory approaches to make sure that the children are getting knowledge and skills. Through play, children learn and get knowledge and skills. So it's a very good approach for the implementation of the competency based. So we are developing teacher's guide, which will be part of the curriculum materials. And we are also planning to work with the Institute. If they revise the curriculum or they update the curriculum for pre-service,
yes,
that means teachers' colleges, these materials can be integrated in the curriculum materials.
Let's cite one or two examples from other operations of right to play, maybe Rwanda or Thailand or any other country where they've successfully been able to integrate the play-based learning methodology in their curriculum. How did they do this, and how has been the impact, maybe in a nutshell?
The review of the curriculum in different countries are always opportunity for partners, stakeholders working in education to be part of the process, to look at the gaps and the added value that each partner, each stakeholder is bringing. So in Rwanda, they revised the national education curriculum. They invited all stakeholders, and Right to Play was there, integrating the play-based learning approach to teach different subjects.
So has it gone to a national level already?
Yes.
Wonderful.
So
and is this
really enrolled through the national education system?
So what are some of the challenges in implementing this play-based learning that you encounter? I know one of them could be, teachers always tend to move to greener pastures and probably move from, public schools to private schools, and private schools are not so many, or are not your target schools for now. What are these challenges that you're encountering And probably have you envisaged any solution to them?
Shifting teachers from partner schools to other schools, which normally is good. It's an asset because the teacher goes with those knowledge and skills. So they were supposed to replicate the approach in the new schools. But all depends on the environment set at that school by the head teacher and how the group is appreciating the approach. Many schools we work with started by a teacher who shifted there, or a head teacher who shifted there from the partner school. And because the approach was good, they have seen the advantages of it, they asked the right to play to support that new school. That's how some of the schools joined the program. So though it's a challenge itself, because we have to make sure that the remaining number of teachers in a partner school are able to train the newcomers. And also the school quality assurers who are supervising the teachers are able to make sure that there is regular peer support at school level. So shifting the teachers is a challenge in itself, but if we look at it positively, it can be an advantage for the scale-up. The other thing, and which is really crucial, we have to think about is this scale-up at national level. We have trained pre-primary teachers in collaboration with Tanzania Institute of Education when they launched the revised curriculum for pre-primary. They trained the teachers from all over the primary schools in the country in January 2017. Because we had developed the play-based teacher's guide to be used in pre-primary. And as you know, pre-primary, there is no any other way of teaching the children at that age. It's play. Everything is play, in the classroom is play, they learn to read. Through play, they develop reading skills, because at that level, we are not expecting them to write or read, but they develop like pre-reading skills, writing skills, arithmetic skills to prepare their readiness for primary. So that was an opportunity for Right to Play. We trained all those teachers. We gave them the play-based teacher's guide to help them start involving the children in a funny and motivating environment. However, the follow-up is a challenge. The monitoring is a challenge, because this approach is new. For a teacher who has been using a lecturer, is changing to child-centered approach and using play in a formal that play is helping to teach all the subjects, all the competencies in the curriculum. It needs follow-up, guidance, mentoring and coaching. So during that training, not all quality assurers were trained, which means the teachers who are trained are not getting sufficient coaching and mentoring process. So you will find in some of the schools we have visited, the play-based teacher's guide is there, but when you observe the classroom, it's not as interactive as we would expect to be. So there is a need that we work with Tanzania Institute of Education to see how to involve the Department of Quality Assurers so that they integrate in their regular field visit and support to schools, also observing how the play-based learning methodology is implemented in the classroom.
Do you have any support from the parents councils? Are they supporting this beautiful approach that you're rendering?
In the partner schools, I can say we have, because we are not only looking at the teacher and the child or the head teacher, we look at also other people supporting the school development plan. Because if we talk about teaching and learning aid, of course, sometimes they will need the support of the parents. So we have involved the school committees to develop action plans, which include engaging the parents in the process. Because quality education requires a lot of things, a lot of stakeholders, including the parents. If the parents are not supportive, are not providing school materials to the children, are not following up on how the child is learning, the child won't be participating on a regular basis, the child won't perform well. So the school committees are supporting in terms of engaging the parents, but also kind of supporting the school, establish that positive learning environment by minor infrastructure, rehabilitation. We are talking about gender. This approach is also gender sensitive. We are putting emphasis on how are girls attending school, how are they learning, and how are they performing. Because when we look at the data, the rate for girls completing primary school is lower than boys.
Yes.
Yeah, those succeeding the national exams, girls, the rate is lower than boys.
Okay.
So which means they have challenges in their education.
Yes.
Yeah, and mainly it's focused on dropout because they have to go out to support their families when they have issues at home. When they reach standard 6, 7 with the sexual and reproductive health menstruation period, they sometimes also drop out because they don't feel comfortable during that period. And research have shown that a girl can miss almost 5 days a month.
Yeah, which is a whole
Which is a lot. Yeah, so we are trying to develop gender equality strategies, child protection strategies to be integrated in the school development plan so that we can address those issues.
Okay. No, what is your call? What is, what is it that you want, you wish seen or done to support the good work that you do in Tanzania?
We start with the school. The head teacher has the responsibility of organizing the team of teachers, ensuring that the play-based learning methodology becomes their teaching approach. We are asking the district education officers, and we are not asking them, they do. They really do because they have found the approach very helping the school performance, the performance of the district and the region. We had the good testimony of the regional education officer of Dar es Salaam saying that right-to-play approach have helped the region to be on top this year for the national, the results of the national exam for the children primary. So which means it's them to support, encourage other schools to learn and implement and use the TOTs, the trainers we have trained at regional and district level to train teachers from schools which are not implementing their approach. The quality assurers specifically are the one ensuring the quality of the implementation of the curriculum in schools. So these are key people for coaching and mentoring teachers and ensuring that this approach is used on a regular basis in the classroom. Then at national level, we would like to see this approach part of the curriculum materials.
Absolutely.
So that in-service teachers training, if implemented well, the teachers will be trained on this approach. Pre-service teachers training, integrating this play-based learning. We will have teachers from colleges going to primary with knowledge and skills on how to use play-based learning methodology. And we will keep working with other education stakeholders to see how we can strategize, combine what we are bringing. We talked about complementarity.
Yes.
If we are in Morogoro with Tusome Pamoja, it's easy. They are talking about methodology.
Yes.
They are talking about improving reading, writing, arithmetic skills for children. So how can we put together this methodology and bring to the teacher one methodology, which is not a right-to-play methodology or a Tusome Pamoja methodology, but active learning methodology, including play-based learning, to help the children learn better.
Okay. What is the objective of their visit?
We have national offices in Europe supporting right to play for fundraising and marketing. So the team from UK will be composed of a board of members of Right to Play UK, athlete ambassadors who are helping us for fundraising, and other individual network people supporting Right to Play. So we have projects which are being implemented in Morogoro, in Mara, with the support from UK foundations. So which means they are coming to see how the program is implemented, what is the impact that Right to Play is making in the lives of the children, how Right to Play is contributing to improve the quality of education, to get the successes and challenges we are having, so that they keep being engaged, committed to continue fundraising for the program in Tanzania, for Right to Play in Tanzania. So they will be talking to the children, beneficiaries, talking to the teachers, observing the classroom interactions, discussing with the responsible people at district level about how Right to Play is implementing the program, what they are expecting from us, so that we can keep supporting, so that they can be motivated for fundraising. And many times they bring these stories back to the countries, and they use the stories from the field to inform people about the needs, about the challenges we have in our communities, poverty, low access to education, so that they get more funds to support addressing those challenges we have in the field.
You were watching the Monday Agenda, and we are most privileged today to talk to the Country Director for Right to Play Tanzania, Madam Josephine Mukakalisa. We are seeing transformation in the education sector in Tanzania. Thank you so much.
For having me. Thank
It's a
you.
great pleasure.